What's up, everybody? Stacking Surfer here. If you guys can hear me, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. I just want to make sure the audio is working right. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I've been wanting to put a video out all day. I'm under the weather, so you won't be able to hear me talk as much as I normally do, which is maybe a good thing. But anyway, I'm going to show this screen most of the time. You can see me here. Hey, guys. But let's focus on this stuff. Will be better. But go ahead and put a 1 in. Audio's good? Okay, good. All right, so I wanted to hit a couple things that are really important that no one's talking about at all in our space. And I'm not sure why they're not talking about it, but maybe they just don't have all the information or maybe they're not aware of it. But I did see an article the other day on X, and it's very pertinent to today. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys a couple things on the screen that I'm going to bring up here from X for you guys to see. Okay, let's see here. Give me just a second. First off, what you're seeing on the screen is a platinum, I guess it's a 1 ounce platinum Liberty Eagle. I think they go by Eagle still, but it's got Liberty on it. And then this next one is also Liberty. Let's see if it'll zoom on this. This is a really cool coin here. It's actually not a coin, it's a round. And it's a 2 ouncer. But these are all fun. They're also, that one's been dropped a few times on the case. They're usually numbered on the side. Maybe these ones, they didn't do it. Maybe it's just the big ones. But these come in different sizes that are kind of fun. This is stuff we pick up at the Long Beach Coin Show that people just are selling below spot. They want to get rid of it. Cool. And then we've got a gold eagle here. Okay, who doesn't like a gold eagle? These are cool coins. However, I still prefer getting the, when I can, the 24 karat gold buffaloes. But they're getting harder to find. 10-foot waves in the morning, surfer. Dude, I am too sick to go surfing. I'm going to have to go look that up, though. I've got like RSV or something like that. I barely breathe. So we'll go slow, but I wanted to get this message out. I've been trying to do it all day. I've had to take care of my family all day. And we have a new pup. So I might pull him up here for a second for you guys to say hi to him. 10-foot waves in the morning in San Clemente would be pretty huge. Don't get those very often here. Yeah, anyway, having to deal with a few things. But we're going to talk about this here in a second. But let me pull up the X chat so you guys can see a couple important things I wanted to pull up. By the way, if anybody, I don't know if any of my mods will be on here, guys, because we're kind of doing this late and last minute. So I'll try to watch the comments there. I don't expect that we're going to have a ton of comments in here late at night, but maybe we will. But as far as comments go, please put those in caps or say surfer with a dash, something along those lines. So I know that you're talking to me. You can also put super chats in. Even better than super chats are doing giving away memberships. That's always great for people too. And then from time to time, there may be a little bit of a pause while I'm blowing my nose, or I might be coughing. So bear with me a little bit on that. Okay. So I do want to pull up grok history here. Because I've got a point I wanted to make. And let me also pull up the thumbnail for today. Okay. Okay, so first I'm going to pull up the thumbnail here. And the title is, "You are watching the wrong metal. Not silver, not gold, but ... This one here. This is the one that you guys need to be watching, and no one's paying attention to it right now. I wouldn't have any platinum if it wasn't for Sean's Precious Bullion recommending that I get it, and also a very strong encouragement from Azure Blue. If you guys know Azure Blue, he's also talked about, hey, you should have some platinum in your stack. You know, most of the stacking channels that are huge, two of the channels that I love, and if it's got an email the other day from someone just wishing us a Merry Christmas to Silver Dragons and Yankee. They don't get a whole lot into platinum. They'll talk about it here and there. They get more into the stacking side of gold and silver primarily. And I'm not telling you guys to go sell your silver and gold for platinum, by the way. I'm not saying that. But this is the metal that I think you need to be watching. And I'm going to show you guys in this video today what I think is happening. And then I'm going to do some more research with Sean's Precious Bullion, and we'll put out an official video. Okay, but this is just cutting news. Okay, no one's talking about this stuff yet. I mean, maybe one or two people on X, and it kind of spurred my thoughts. So that's what we're going to talk about. But did you guys know platinum is up 148% for the year? Put a one in if you know that. Okay, and then I'd like you guys to put in what the actual number is for silver right now. How high up is silver for the year? I'll give you guys a second to put those in. Yes, that was a tissue break. So thank you very much for the super chat for tissues. Yeah, we're gonna need a little bit of those. It's the downside of traveling and having a tech job is for some reason they always send me out of state right before Christmas, and then my family's always got something going on where I need to take care of a lot of stuff. Inevitably, I get worn down and sick. So thank you for that. All right, guys. So okay, so you got a bunch of ones in there. Alrighty, that's good. Okay, as far as silver goes, we've got the notorious RPG 1980 is saying 130 for silver. Okay, so he's looking at it saying that platinum is higher than silver right now. I'd like to see what else you guys think. So this is another thing I'll just throw out there, guys. Subscribe, thumbs up. We are so close to hitting the number. I got to go back and see the 17,000 number. We hit the 17,000 number. I'm giving out a 10th ounce ounce of gold. So let's see where the channel's at right at the moment. Okay, we're at 6,000 or 16,841. Okay, we get to 17,000 by the last second of 2025, and on that New Year's Eve party, we'll be giving out a 10th ounce of gold. It'll be a gold Toro. It'd be awesome. There's not a whole lot left there. Now, I don't want any of you guys just going and signing up homeless people for it. Well, you would think homeless people don't have cell phones, but they do. A lot of them do. But you know, just don't go signing up anybody on it. But let's get people in there that are going to benefit from it. So while you're having Christmas dinner, if you guys do anything Christmas Eve, or if you're celebrating Hanukkah, or any of the other holidays that are out there that I probably can't pronounce, you know, talk to your family about gold and silver, introduce them to the channel. Let's get there, and then one of you guys is going to win a 10th ounce of gold. And we'll do some other silver stuff too, by the way. Okay, so but hit the subscribe, smash the like, and then I've been told there's another new button here that let's see if I can find it real quick. There's like a promote button or something like that, but I don't know if it's on lives. It might only be on videos, but I'm going to pull it up on my screen real quick. Yeah, I don't see it on this live stream. But I believe there's a button that you can promote this. So if you really like what's going on in the channel and you want to be able to promote that, that's the way to go. Okay, so here's what I want. We're going to add that to the stage. We're going to take this off the stage. Okay, there you go. All right, so it's going to focus. So here's the deal. Everybody's pretty much focusing on silver. Everything that's trending is silver, okay? That's what's all trending is the silver. Gold was trending earlier this year and last year. Gold was having its time. No one's even talking about platinum. And I think it's crazy because platinum, I'm going to show you guys the stats. It's about to take out silver for the best really one of the best investments for the year, and definitely in the metals. Okay, and it's pretty much blown away any cryptocurrency that's out there, except for maybe some really small, tiny ones. Um, so I'm going to show you guys that. Let me just put this on focus so I don't get any more notifications on my phone. Okay, so here's the deal. Um, I have a very small portion of my stack is in platinum. Okay, so first off, this is not a platinum hyping video. I'm not telling you to go out and buy platinum. What we're going to talk about is what does it mean that platinum is moving so fast, so high? That's what we're going to talk about. Okay, I still feel that these are the two better metals to be in. Number one for me, gold is wealth insurance, and I'm always going to own this as long as I own other assets like real estate. Okay. And I have other things like retirement accounts that are in the stock market that could get wiped out. Gold's going to be my insurance for that. Okay. I will probably always own some gold, no matter what, to be able to pass on to my family. I think it's one of the best ways to pass your wealth on, especially if you understand how to do it correctly. That's not something I can do publicly. We can talk about that in one-on-one coaching if you guys want. Silver. Silver is my metal for SHTF when we're looking at constitutional silver. I don't even think I have any of it with me here. I don't. But I don't know. I've got a box here. Let's see. I'm going to show you guys a few cool things in here. But there's a couple cool things in here. So, constitutional silver is going to be there for your SHTF situations in silver. And then you're going to have other coins like this or bars or whatever else in silver is an awesome speculation play. It's only going to go higher from here. Now, does that mean we're not going to have pullbacks? No, we're going to have pullbacks. We're going to have some corrections here and there, but right now the momentum is looking like we're going to continue to be going up towards 100. Okay, give me just a second, guys. All right, I'm still live. Okay, so a couple things I just want to put out that are really cool. If you guys can get anything like this out of Costco, I think these are awesome. Costco sells them at a pretty good price. You can find them on other bullion dealer sites. This one is just a Pamp Suisse Lady Fortuna. There's also one that's like a horse right now. And there's one that is a dragon. And one of the reasons I like these, and when everybody was giving fractional gold a really bad um, name a couple of years ago, let's say 2021 and 2022, which was just about every channel, I was buying this stuff. And yes, it's a little bit more expensive by ounce, but guess what, guys? What happens when gold's at $50,000 an ounce? Okay, what are you going to do? You're going to unload $50,000 an ounce. How many people are you going to be able to sell that to? Okay, bullion dealers, sure, but your next door neighbor, probably not. This stuff makes it easier, and so it's not about the price anymore, guys. And I don't want you to overpay, but it's not about the price. It's about accumulating. It's about having it in the right forms. Okay, I'm in the process of trying to, you know, go down from larger bars to smaller bars or smaller coins so that it's easier to move things, especially as we start seeing silver get up to $100. Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying in here. Yep, platinum did some crazy stuff, guys. So we're gonna look at a few things here in just a second. I'm gonna show you X and kind of what AI pulled up for us. Now, um, thank you. I appreciate it. I do this because I feel like I'm supposed to do this, like it's a community service calling thing. I'm hoping this year I can actually start making a little bit of money from it to help offset all our medical stuff we've got going. And yes, I believe that Jesus lives. Merry Christmas. And the Lord is the one that's really been pushing me in this thing. And he's the one that's helped me get connected with people like Andy Schectman to help me grow my channel. And also Yankee Stacking as a mentor to really do things. So we've got over here. I watched the platinum as I half the bag the last years. then when it crashes again, I will still hold the bag. Laugh out loud. Yeah, you know, I will talk about that in a second. So first off, I'm not telling you guys to go buy platinum. I'm not going to give you financial advice, and I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing here. What I'm going to tell you is you should be watching it. There's something going on. It's telling a story. Now, this is a really cool coin. I picked up on the just leaving from the last Long Beach coin show before they shut it down, and it's getting reopened under a different name now. But this is a really cool coin. It's deep in Coos. Is that what they call it? Let's see. Super in Coos. So if you can see it, it's like smashed in there, the maple leaf. It's like very 3D. And so it's got gold and it's got silver. But it's mostly 1 ounce of silver with a little bit of gold on it. These are cool coins. I was able to pick this thing up for a really good deal because the guy had a couple and he just wanted to get rid of them. So there's another cool coin. And then I've got a friend that found out I was doing a YouTube channel. So he sent this out as a gift. Shoot, sorry guys. I don't really do coins a whole lot, so I don't have a great setup for this. Let's see, you guys on the vertical aren't going to be able to see it, but there you go. This is a dragon coin from the 2024. Okay. So I'm gonna put that kind of over here. And then for you guys that are watching at home on your mobile phones, there's this coin. That one's really cool. Okay, so why are we needing to watch platinum? Let me show you guys. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up. You're gonna find, so before I do that, but let's talk about this real quick. There's a couple comments from you guys in this section, and then I'll go down further down. So number one, technical analysis is only as good as telling the weather 10 days out. Okay. So if you go and you open up your phone and you have a weather app and you go out 10 days and it tells you that there's a 30% chance of rain, um, you're 10 days out. There's a good chance that that rain could come earlier, or it could come later, or it could disappear on you, or it could turn into a very severe storm. Um, you know, you don't know, but you have a higher probability that there's going to be some kind of um, precipitation. Oh my gosh, I was going to say perspiration. It's not even a word. Precipitation. And that's what technical analysis does for you, right? We've seen a 45-year cup and handle in silver. By the way, I'll be getting my charts up here, hopefully over the next 2 weeks set up so you guys can start seeing those. But anyway, it's going to give you an idea of that, right? So when we see things like this, the charts show us that it's gone past it, right? Well, the charts also show us that silver should have already gone back down to like $38, and that gold should have gone all the way down to $48 or sorry, $3,800, right? Neither one of those things happened, and now the 200-day moving average for both of these is much higher. I want to say silver's around let's see, I think it's around 50 now. And I think gold's around like oh, let's see, it's probably right around 3,500. I'd have to look at the charts, but they've moved up. Okay. And as those move up, we may not hit them exactly that same way. So here's what we're going to talk about today. I don't think the thing to think about with platinum is catalytic converters. I think that is just old news and not really why platinum's spiking. And I think that's what's going on. So let's dive into this. Okay. Let's see if I can make this bigger. There we go. So this is the analysis that I had Grok do. So first off, this is quite amazing what we've seen, guys. And it does not have the data. Is that totally correct? I think it went up a little over 70 today. I think it was like $140 today. Those numbers may not be correct. So we got to test these things out. I just did this before we jumped on here. So you guys have to put in the chat Where did these end at the right place? I don't think they ended it. These numbers look right, but the daily change I don't think is right for platinum. I think it's higher. Okay, but here's the numbers I really wanted to get to. Silver's at 149% increase, maybe 150. It kind of depends on exactly where you're pulling it. Platinum is right next to it. So platinum has just beat the shorts off of gold, and you've got palladium coming up right behind it. Okay, I don't own any palladium. I do have a little bit of platinum, but it's less than like 0.1% of my stack. Okay, I've got about uh, what did I do the other day? I think I'm around 57 ounces of silver to every 1 ounce of gold I have, which puts me in the gold bug category. I know a lot of you guys are flipped on that. You have a lot more. You may have 100, 200, 300 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. And so you may be more excited about the silver move than I am. But I also have a lot I'm trying to protect with my gold. But here's what I really wanted to show you guys. But give me just one quick break. By the way, I'll come back to your questions in just a second. I can't see them while I'm showing this. Okay, here's what I saw a post on, and I'm going to start digging into to validate it. So this is the hypothesis. I could be wrong. It may not be valid. But since the company I work for, we're in the AI space, and that's a lot of what my degrees are in is in understanding these markets um, and analytics and everything. I heard someone talking about there needs to be a lot more platinum around to be able to do all the energy. So I think what's happening here is the banksters are going. Let me bring this up so you guys can see me too, or my other screen too. So okay, like this. Okay, it'll kind of go in between. Okay, so gold. Gold is what the banksters are going after. They're cornering gold by spending their energy and money to accumulate it. And that's why the central banks are grabbing as much as they can. Okay. The United States, behind closed doors, is getting as much of it brought back into the country as we can so we can audit it and then we can revalue it at some point. Silver is getting bought up by a whole bunch of the billionaires that want to play a silver squeeze, as well as industry that needs silver to survive, as well as the banks that for their clients have been shorting the heck out of it for so long and are now in a situation, according to Andy Schectman, where they have to start going long and buying more physical silver in order to hedge against their shorts that they had to close down and lose a lot of money on. Platinum has been a mystery for me until I started reading about this. And I think the platinum play is an energy play. So I don't think it's catalytic converters. I think what it is it's nuclear power plants. Um, and I think it's also hydrogen production. And I think it's for the data centers. All these data centers are popping up all over the place for AI. And so if you think about it, AI is not necessarily just a play for chips. It's also a play for capacity. And so if you're going to try to win the AI race, you have to start ramping up your energy production. And we're not doing that in the US. China is, and we don't even really, I don't think we have any mines that do platinum in the US. So this right here is the play. I think that's why we're starting to see see a platinum squeeze going on. But I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you guys think? Do you think we're maybe onto something? Is this worth researching, or do you think it's all BS? And I'm going to scroll down in the comments here and see what you guys have. I'm not going to say that out loud, but that's very true. We only do those on one-on-ones, and even at that, it's still. I just give you guys options. Yeah, so it's almost $100 now, guys, in Canadian dollars. Uh, why aren't there hundreds in this chat? Because I haven't been able to be as consistent as I want to be with this channel, and it's less than 3 years old. A lot of the other channels that are pretty big have been around a lot longer. So really, it just takes you guys spreading the word and sharing it with other people, hitting the like buttons, and every once in a while we catch a wave. I think I've added about 3,000 new subscribers just in the last 28 days. So, if we could do that every 28 days, the channel would be huge. Um, Copper is also one to watch. Okay. But it hasn't really, at least I haven't been watching it, but I don't think it's popped as much as Platinum has recently. I know it's not anywhere near as high as 150 or so percent up yet. But Copper is one to watch because it is a big indice on what's going on with the economy. Are things ramping up? So technically, Platinum should not be going up at all. Car production is down. People are not buying cars. They're super expensive, and we are seeing some movement back from EVs to regular ICE cars or um, gas engine cars, but it's not enough for Platinum to go skyrocketing like this. I think it's other stuff. Okay. Yep, I like fractional, guys. I don't think you can go wrong with it. You can buy it online from Costco as well. However, the best play for Costco, guys, is on a day like today. If you saw the metals jumping up yesterday and then you saw them spiking today, and you're in the market to buy, you should have been at Costco first thing in the morning because they don't raise their prices, and you'd be able to get a lot of times when you put the 4% discount in, you get it below spot, which is pretty cool. Okay. I'm gonna try to get caught up here, guys. Yeah, dude, it's tough. So this guy was purchased, I think, for uh late last year, and I don't even think I got the coin until January. But it was purchased for like under $1,300. So that's already gone up a lot. If you want to go get an Eagle, that's the last year they made them. It's an S70 and it's in the CIC sticker. And Case, which is the highest of the three companies. Um, that right there, my friends, is probably close to a $3,000 coin now. Okay. Oh, one thing I do want to point out to you guys on Slice. I'll have to see if I can get myself logged in here for you guys today. There is a one-to-one mentorship there that is it's like $50 off until the end of the year. There's a link down below, you can go to it, but there's a lot of stuff they get offered with that. Like I'm looking at with one member, she's still making a decision, but I may help her with building out her technology app. I've started many tech companies, and I can point her in the direction of getting a lot of stuff working there. Let's see. Well, thank you for stopping by. Best of luck. This is sound advice, yes. Um, what I do is I look at the charts to give me an idea of how the macro is going to get formed. So I'll look at the charts from, um, let's see if I can pull them up real quick. Okay, give me a second here. Okay, I'm finding the chart real quick here to show you guys. Okay, I'm just going to illustrate this for a second. So when you look at a chart like this, what it helps you understand is that there's a potential cup and handle formation forming, which we then ended up having kind of a smaller cup and handle over here, depending on how you look at it. But once we break out above this, it's a confirmation that you have that. It's very bullish. And typically what you do is you go from the top of the 46, it's written in red, in the bigger yellow area, and you go all the way down to the bottom. And you take that to the top of the 48 line, all the way to the right where it's breaking out. And that's how high you would expect it to go. Okay. Now, is that perfect? No, but it gives you an idea. And so when I hear people saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to sell all my silver because we're almost going to hit 50," I put a video out about we're going to hit $75, and it could happen within weeks. And I even caveated maybe it'll take until the end of the year or a couple months. We're almost there, guys. Like it's not prophetic. It's just I can see where the charts are going. There's momentum there. And so, are we going to take out 75 before the end of the year? Probably. Are we going to take out 80 on silver? Probably. Um, could it go all the way up to 100? It could, but if it does, it's pretty steep. And the steeper up you go, the higher the probability that you're going to have some kind of a correction pullback with it. But we're in unprecedented times. We've got billionaires fighting with governments now. It's kind of a whole new thing. All right, let's see. We'll take that off for a second, guys. Yep, that's always there, guys. Okay. Yeah, platinum ETFs have come up a lot. So have silver and gold miners. I looked at my stuff this morning, and the good news is any losses I had from crypto stuff, which I don't even know why I screw on with that stuff. I hardly ever make any money in crypto. Um, it's more peer pressure from my friends to buy a little bit of stupid stuff. I think the only thing I've made money from is XRP. All the other stuff I've pretty much lost money on. Biggest audience is still gold. Gold will always hit the most people. Platinum's way niche here. But what I too want to help you guys understand is this. Okay, this is the difference here. All right, so I know who wants to win the gold Toro. So this is the one right here that's going to be given away once we hit 17,000 before the end of the year. Otherwise, it's going in the deep stack. But there's the Toro. And I don't know, one of these days I need to get a better camera set up so we can have some really good looking high definition videos for you guys. That's a really cool coin. It's reverse proof. And these go for about 20 bucks over the price of a gold eagle 10th ounce, maybe a little bit more. And I think I'm the only one that's got the links is up for sale on all of eBay. And there's only a few people that have these up for sale. So, and I've got them all. They're all right here. So anyway, that's pretty much the market. There are no other options out there. All right. So platinum's gone from 843 up to 2348. Okay, it's done it very quickly. That's why I think there's more going on here than just catalytic converters, people moving from EVs to ICE cars. I think there's something going on with the nuclear, with the AI movement, and also with all of the energy that needs to be done. I'm seeing something there. So we're going to get down to the bottom of that. Well, thank you, Sergio. Welcome to the channel. This will tell you what is more likely to get you the best bang for your buck. I would agree. What to buy, in my opinion, comes down to what you need. Um, you know, if we're talking round numbers, just to make it easier, and you have $100,000 in gold, right? And you have no silver, you have no platinum. Even with the ratio doing what it's doing now, I would still say is a great time to still be stacking silver until we get down closer to, say, a 30 ratio. Then at that point, it's not very good to be stacking silver anymore. Most people do not look at the platinum to gold ratio or platinum to silver ratio. Most people are just not even paying attention to platinum. Okay, let's see. Now that I think is true, me child. So um, I think we're going to. I would say maybe uh, for sure we're going to hit into $100 next year. I would be very very surprised if we weren't at some point next year in $100 silver or much higher. Um, I'd be very very surprised. Could we see it go below 100? We could. So here's the issue with silver. You guys got to watch out for. It's possible that silver goes up to 105, $110 here, maybe even 115 soon. And then the banks decide to start shorting the heck out of it because a lot of people have gone long. Okay. So you gotta kind of watch what's going on in the options market. And if that's happening, then the real play there is to maybe take some off of the top that you might need for other things. Now, if you're a person that um, stacks a small percentage of your net worth, like say 5 or 10% in metals, um, you know, I think it's going way over $100. I think it's going to go into the 3 to 5 to maybe the $1,000 range over the next 5 to 10 years. All right, sorry about that. So in those circumstances, I would just wait and hold on to it, right? But we could see it go. We could see it crash any day, but I don't see it happening. We could see it go up to 100, and we could see it crash back down to 60, and or to even 70, and you'd still be better off buying today. So don't forget that. Yeah, so there's a couple things on this, guys, as far as the channel goes. My videos are usually below 15 minutes, okay? Um, but not my interviews. Interviews are usually quite a bit longer. Um, and once there's enough revenue coming in and we have a sponsor, I can pay people to edit. I just don't have the time to do it. And editing runs anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 bucks a month on these channels to do it. Most people don't do it because of that. Um, I'm okay doing it if I can grow my channel. But what happens is you have a 45-minute interview, a 50-minute interview with Andy Schectman. I don't think you guys want me chopping it up and cutting a bunch of stuff out to try to make it 15 minutes. You're going to miss most of what he had to say. Um, Even getting it down to 35 minutes is going to be pretty tricky. Now, I'm working on not being so long-winded with my questions. Some of that comes down to the last couple weeks I've had back-to-back interviews with people plus my day job, and it's the end of the year. It's been crazy. But when you see most of my videos, they're going to be anywhere from about 8 minutes to 15 minutes. That's what I try to do with them. I've got a couple shorter ones that'll come out with me talking about the 3 different ways I stack. I'm going to try to get those out before the end of the year. Those are beach walks. A lot of you guys like those. Um, the interviews will be longer. And so I don't know if it's helpful to say interview on there. Usually, if you see two people's faces on there, it's an interview. It's going to be a longer video. Now, when I have the funding for it, I will have editors come in and maybe we'll get some good AI tech that can do it. Right now, it's not there yet. But take a longer video and turn it into a shorter one. Um, I mean, editing something like that can take 5 hours. I don't have the time for it. Um, but yes, I understand that, and I do hope to keep them a little shorter for you guys. And I would love to get, have the main video go out, and then 3 days later, you've got the shorter version. All right. Yeah, that I think I don't understand this, to be frank. Um, the the gold to silver ratio does not 50 50 is not like the middle point. It's just what's been historic the last 100 years, which has been heavily manipulated. But the historic point is about 12 or 10. So, excuse me. So until you get to 10 ounces of silver equaling 1 ounce of gold, I don't know why you would go heavy into selling your silver for gold. It doesn't make any sense. Now, if you have no gold and you want to buy some gold and you've got a lot of silver and your ratio is like 90% silver and 10% gold, yeah, you might want to do that. And it's a little better than it was when it was 100. Okay, so it's a little better there too. But I don't understand why you would really do that right now. For me, I don't plan on selling any of my silver for gold until it's probably closer to about 40. That's like where I would start looking at it. I think we can get down to 30, maybe 20. If we get down to 10, it's probably very temporarily there, or we have now pegged the currency with gold, and silver is now being pegged against gold. I don't think it will. I don't think graphene is going to destroy silver. I don't think it's very reflective. I'm not sure on its conductivity, but I don't think it's as. I don't actually think graphene is conductive. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think it's going to destroy silver. Um, I believe in God. I believe God put this here for us to use as money, and He put this here for us to use in industry, okay, and for money as well. These other metals like platinum also have uses, but these are what we're supposed to be using as money per the Constitution, per God, all of that stuff. We start moving away from this and moving to paper money, you get the mess we have now. You get away from this and you move to cryptocurrencies, you're going to get a whole new mess that you guys are all about to experience over the next 20 years. Um, it's not great. It's complete surveillance state. It doesn't matter who's in power. And most likely it'll be President Trump that brings that to be. Um, they'll probably do it to try to do it the right way, but you can't make it the right way. As soon as it's surveyed and everybody knows all of your public transactions, it's too late. Yeah, exactly. Graphene, I think, super strong. And I think it's also like very tight nanoparticles, but you can pound this gold stuff down to 1 micron, down to, an atom. It's very hard to do that with just about anything else. Now that would be interesting, and it would be interesting if we start to see it go back. So, let's just show you guys this real quick. Ay, ay, ay. So this is 1 ounce, and right here it says $50 on it. Right here, $50. Okay, so the U.S. recognizes this as a $50 coin for legal tender. Don't ever sell it for that. That'd be stupid. And the platinum one right here. Let's see. So the bottom here in the hill is 100. So it's not impossible to think that gold gets up to, say, 20,000 bucks someday. Maybe it gets revalued to 50,000. It's not impossible for platinum to be double that value. However, it's hard to believe. So I would not buy it for that reason. This is really just some diversification. It's good to have some of it. And platinum's not something I really want to be holding on to forever. It's not a deep stack thing. And so if I can flip this and turn that into a car with profits, that's awesome. If I can flip this into more gold and silver, that's awesome. Okay, I'm going to try to go down here further. You guys leave such good stuff in the chats, and it's just hard to get through it all. Oh, lots happened since then. Let's see. Craig Olson, remember in August, or for when you asked us our prediction on gold and silver for 12/31/25, I was 4,370 bucks. Dude, that's really good. When I put my video out, I think in March is when I put out my prediction video. I was a little bit late this year. I'm going to hope to get one out for you guys next week. But my prediction videos are not for us to try to figure out who's right and exactly what the number is going to be, because at the end of the day, you're really guessing on all that stuff anyway. You can use some analysis to kind of get close to a hypothesis with it, but it's more fun to see how close did you come. So those are really close numbers. August, though, is a little bit cheating because it's about, it's past more than half the years past, right? So what I want to do is put a number out this year in December, before the year's over, and give you guys my platinum, my gold, and my silver number this time. And those three numbers are going to help us see what happens next year. So I'm working on those right now. Give me just a second. Having a cold stinks. I hate these things. But good job, Greg Olson. I'll have to check that out. So we'll put that on the screen for you guys to check out. I haven't really gone into the energy stuff. Oil's super cheap right now too. I just don't know if it's time to get in there yet. So Syntax 2600, a quick note on goldbacks. I don't hate them. I actually think they're pretty cool. I've got a stack of them. And I've got an original set of the Utah, which was their first set that they ever did. And so there's probably some good value to that as a collector. My problem with goldbacks is that they're super expensive. They have about 105% premium on top of the weight that's there. My other issue is they've been kind of stinkers since they had new management. They just won't talk to channels very well. So I'm still trying to see if we can get them back on to talk to them about all the states that are coming out and what's going on. They really just want to talk to big channels. I was one of the first people to get an interview with some of their people there on site in Utah visiting my family. And those are some of my best videos from a greenfield standpoint, meaning that people can watch them anytime, are the goldback videos. So I show you how to use them. I show how that all works. So anyway, I like goldbacks. I just don't stack a ton of those, but I do think they're really good for bug out bags. I think they're really good to put in a backpack, or to put in between the pages of your driver's manual in your glove box. No one's going to look in there. No one's going to steal that. You can put it in there as emergency money to be used, and it is real gold. I like the concept and idea as well. I think I'm actually an authorized reseller of those. I just have never done it. All right, let's see what else you guys have in here. So it's more than that, even. Sexy Seahawks. Okay. I'm not going to read the whole name. It's more than that. What's different now is that we're towards the end, if not in the end, of a fiat currency. We're going to have a new system that's going to emerge out of this. We've also got a situation where the entire planet has stopped using silver as money, and now people are starting to hoard it again as money in India and in China. The people who have money are starting to do that. Retail in the US hasn't even shown up. I mean, look at this. They've got to make these coins super fancy to get people to buy them, right? I mean, look at how this has got like color on it, the dragon. And, gold's just, this is not a fancy coin. It's a very classic design. Um, and, it's nice, but it's not anything fancy. I mean, look at how fancy they've had to make some of these coins and go out of their way to put fun images on them just to get people to buy this stuff. Um, people aren't just out there buying, bars. They like to have something here. But this time is different. Anybody that tells you it's not doesn't understand the macro of what's going on. Yeah, frankly, that's not funny. I would say people that can't afford gold buy silver first, but I think they're starting to look at platinum. And here's the thing, platinum's now over $2,000. So I think people that were looking at platinum are having a hard time for platinum going into silver. But yes, the point is still good. Food, yes. Toilet paper, I don't know, only if you want a happy wife. But definitely food. Yeah, that's true. Never heard of a silver nugget laying on in a stream anywhere. I'm not sure what you're asking here. How would they even allow us to produce silver at, say, 50? You're under, if they knew it was going to shoot up to or possibly 100 plus an ounce. I believe it costs a lot less than $50 to produce silver. Um, I think it's like closer to like $15 or something like that. The problem with silver is it's not really mined; it's a byproduct. Excuse me, guys. All right, I'm gonna look at two more questions here. We'll go down to the bottom, so we're kind of caught up with you guys because I'm gonna lose my voice. And OC Stacker wants me to get better so I can come hang out with him tomorrow. What he doesn't know is I haven't been able to breathe for a day and a half, so I haven't really slept. Hopefully, we'll get some sleep tonight. I think it'll be very strong. I really don't think that's going to be the problem. I think the problem is going to be um, what's the premium that they're forcing on you. Okay. So if you get down to, say, a 30, let's go even lower, a 30 GSR, that means that people are really wanting silver a lot more than they ever have in the past. Okay. There's way more demand for it than there has been compared to gold. So the first question is, when we get down to 30, um, are you going to want to part with your silver, or are you going to start believing and feeling that silver is a lot better than having gold? And are we going to have so much industrial use and demand for it that we basically decide, hey, we're just not, I don't want the gold anymore. Okay, so that's the first issue you're going to run into with the low GSR. The second one is there's a premium. Okay, so if everybody is turning in their silver for gold, then I would suspect that GSR has not been there very long, and people don't believe it's going to stay there very long, so they want to hurry and flip before it goes up. If that's the case, the LCS is not going to have a whole lot of gold left. People are going to rush into there very quickly. So this is where you've got to do what OC Stacker talks about, which is find a point where you want to start dollar cost selling, um, so that you don't get to to a low ratio of 10 and there's no gold left. And honestly, that's never going to happen. It's just you're never going to get it at that ratio. So let's say you get to a 30 ratio and a lot of people want gold. Well, by the time you add the premium in for selling your silver and buying the gold, you're probably back up to like a 45 ratio or a 40 ratio. So that's just the thing you've got to keep in mind. There's always got to be, some cost in there. Now, if you're trying to do with a friend and you're trying to get them to go and swap it, you're probably not a very good friend, because you're trying to play off of your friend to take advantage for yourself. So, that only works if someone is constantly moving metals. But yeah, I mean, they're still going to be available. It's just, will you ever really get down to that ratio? Depends on how low it actually goes. The OC Stacker just walks around with gold backs. So if you can find them on the street, he'll give you a gold back. No, I'm just kidding. Um, when you guys have gold backs, one of the things that I do recommend is getting the little leather wallet that it comes with. it's much easier to keep them, from bending and other things like that when you put them in your safe. I can't tell you guys this. Here's what I can tell you. I don't have any paper money by me, but um, I don't want the paper money anymore. I don't want that crap. So I'd rather have this stuff here. So for me, right now is not the time to have just a little bit of my portfolio in this. I think it's the time to be as heavy as you can possibly be in this and still be able to have enough emergency funds in case you lose your job, you have a flood in your house, one of your kids has an accident, and some dry powder for when a crazy good deal comes about. Okay. Outside of that, I don't want to keep a lot of cash. I want to have it in this. And if I need to, I'll go sell these. If you were buying these at below $2,000 for a gold eagle, you can now sell them for way above $2,000. And yes, we've had inflation, um, but we're starting to now go above that inflation rate to where gold is kind of kept up with it. We're getting close to that. I would say that in a lot of things we've had 100% inflation over the last 5 years. The CPI is going to tell you we've had something like a total of 10% or maybe 20. It's been way higher. Silver and platinum have already outperformed any kind of inflation we've had, which is really cool. So you're better off owning this than having CDs. I mean, honestly, 150% return. How many years does it take you getting a 3.5% return on a CD to equate 1 year of owning this stuff? Now, will it do that next year? If it does, we have bigger problems than I thought. If we see this up by 150% next year, what would that be? Let's take 71 times 1.5. That'd be 106. Okay. I guess we can still see it. So yeah, we can see that. If we get up to 106, it's another 150% increase. You're going to see that. Actually, that's only 50% increase. Sorry, I did that wrong. Well, I don't know. I'm too tired. Maybe I did that right. We're going to probably see another big increase for this next year. But I'm not waiting for a number to sell this stuff because I don't want anything else except for real estate. So until real estate becomes super cheap compared to gold and silver, I'm not moving out of that stuff. And then even when I do that, I need to make sure it's going to cash flow in a way that's not just CBDCs or stable coins. Yes. So, here's the dilemma. Um, I have people come up to me at the DMV. I have people come up to me at the beach. I have people message me and say, "Hey, I know where the area you live in and stuff like that." Um, I don't, I keep some of the stuff at my house, but majority of it's vaulted away. Most people that do just interview channels don't own this stuff. They don't really own much of the physical anyway. They own the ETFs. They're mostly traders and stock people anyway. They don't have a lot of the physical. And if they do have physical, it's stored in the vault and it's not this kind of product. It's a fractional, ownership of a big, huge gold bar or silver bar. They're just playing a whole different game. And I do have that stuff too. um, the people that go and show a full stack, which would be fun. I would love to share with you guys my full stack and what I bought and when and why I bought it and all that stuff. I think my stuff's better than most people's stuff because it's diverse. If you come to the Long Beach Coin Show, you'll see a lot of my collection in the display cases of, Star Wars stuff or other cool coins that we have. Um, and I'm going much more into weight now, which has been important for me, and I've been doing that the last say 2.5 years or so. But I'm not going to show my full stack when I show my face. It's for security things. It's not that my full stack's at even located in my house. I can only get access to like 3 times a year, if even that. And it's in private, undisclosed places that you're not going to get into. Even if you put a gun to my head, you're not going to get into the building. You'd have a SWAT team around you and all that stuff. But even with that, I just don't want to have to run the risk of someone trying to hunt down and try to figure out where to go. I just have this stuff out because I had it out for the live stream we did on Friday, but this is going to be going back into the deep stack. So I don't show a lot of coins. Very rarely are you going to see coins on my channel. And even going forward, we're going to do it even less because to me, it's not about the coins. It's about it's about you guys. It's about your coins. It's about what you're stacking. We may show examples. We'll go to coin shows. We'll go to LCSs to show you that stuff. But my channel is much less about coins versus like the strategy behind stacking, why you would do it, and how to do it. And that's the decision I made when I showed my face. All right, let's see what else. Yeah, but I don't think any peer-to-peer is going to do it. I can tell you that I think if you get to 30 on the GSR, I don't think there's a single person that's a stacker that's going to be willing to trade any of their gold for silver. I don't think they'll want it. Or if they do, then there won't be anybody that wants to sell their silver. It's kind of how it goes. I mean, every GSR deal we've played on, it has only made sense if we can do a quick flip. And that means that we're still making money off of a premium off of the transaction. Otherwise, you're kind of screwing yourself, if that makes sense. Like you're kind of screwing everything up for yourself. You're giving up a lot to help that other person, and you might do that a little bit, but you're sure not going to do that for 100 coins. Someone's not going to show up with a monster box of silver eagles and say, "Hey, I would like 100 silver, 100 gold coins." Right? That's not the exact ratio anyway, but you get the point. Maybe they want to have 30, gold eagles out of that. Probably not going to happen. But I do think they'll be available. It's just the premiums are going to get super high. So what you should be hoping for is a ratio of 10. If you get to a ratio of 10, you should be pretty happy if you can swap it for 20, you know? All right, Tiger's got a super chat here for us, and then we're going to call it a night. So this comes out of one of these ultra breaks. So it's a 1/2 ounce. So it comes out of one of these things. And I don't buy these very often, but every once in a while I do. I did buy a really cool one. It should be really awesome coming up. But it doesn't ship out until like January 1st or 2nd. But we'll do a revealing of that when we get to it. But that might be kind of the last coins I even show on the channel for a very long time. I don't have a good setup for camera stuff, and I don't want it to be about the coins. There's a lot of people, a lot of channels that talk about the coins stuff, which I think is great to hit. What I want to do is help you guys know what to buy and where to find it, and how to stack it the right way. It all depends. So there are some dealers that are completely slammed with silver and they have so much of it, they don't know how to get rid of it. They don't want to buy any more. You've got other dealers that don't have enough of the silver to get their hands on too. But it's really more on the product side. But I'm not hearing too much right now about silver being hard to find. Um, I'm seeing a lot of product available for local. Maybe some of the, we had about a month and a half there where everybody was back ordered by several weeks into even a month or two. I don't think we're at that position right now with silver. And I think that's because you've got a lot of people coming in to sell it right now. But that will happen from time to time. And it will get hard. I mean, if you're going to buy a large amount of silver and you want a certain product, like I say, a monster box of silver eagles, you may be stuck for a very long time, trying to get it and not being able to, get it. You have to order it and it comes in like 6 months later. Yeah, silver quarters now, guys, are like they're like 12, almost $13 now a quarter. They've gone up a lot. So we got some new members here. Day Trader Success Coach 9927. Welcome. We'll be doing a lot of member stuff as well. So I don't know if that's an upgrade. It has you in here twice, but welcome and thank you. We're gonna have a lot more cool content going out. We're also gonna have a lot of good deals for people that are members. We come across a lot of silver deals, so I'm in the process of putting together an email list, and that's for the members, not the subscribers. And we'll have special discounts for you guys if you want on metals that we pick up. Um, yeah, not a financial advisor, guys. I don't have the credentials for it. Um, However, I came from a very wealthy family, and I've worked with some of the best financial advisors in the country. They were courting my family, and we were able to do amazing things with finance until my family got clobbered in 2008, and then all of a sudden there wasn't much to do anymore. But I've been there. There's some crazy stuff you can do when you've got really good financial advisors and you've got a ton of money. Otherwise, there's a lot of stuff here on YouTube that can give you guys ideas of where to go with it and what to do. So it's not so much about trying to figure out what someone else is doing. It's about figuring out what do you want to do. Why are you looking at this stuff in the first place? If you have no net worth and you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're renting a house and your car's all beat up, uh, I don't know that you should be buying gold, in my opinion. I'd be focused on silver. It's a lot less expensive and it has a much more potential to go higher. And that gives you the ability to have more potential to build wealth. But at some point, even if you're in that situation and you're starting to stack silver, at some point it's good to get gold. So we'll talk about a lot of those strategies and what it means and how to do it. Okay, let's see. New Navy ships need silver. That's interesting. Yeah, I'd love to do that, guys. I can hit my neighbor's house with a ping pong ball. It's a little too close. So yeah, I don't know the exact number. I hear if you ask AI, it'll tell you 10% of American adults have gold and silver. That's not jewelry. I don't believe that. And then I've heard from other people it's half of 1%. Okay, so 0.5%. I don't know. Here's the fact, it's a much smaller percentage than people that own Bitcoin. And you can see what Bitcoin's done, and it did it without inflation taking it all the way up there. Um, it could happen with these metals too. If you can get 20% of the population buying silver and 10% buying gold, these prices are going multiples higher. I mean, you're talking a family would be lucky to even own a gold coin. And then you'd be getting to the point that a family might be able to own a roll, a tube of silver coins, and that's it. When would that happen? I don't know. Yeah, solar's and everything, guys. Ah, go into your bank. Can't remember who was saying to do this. Some of the other silver channels that doesn't show their face, but get a silver half dollar, get a Eisenhower silver dollar. I think a Susan B. Anthony. I think those are silver too. I don't do much with those, but you can have those. You can show it to a bank teller and say, "Do you have any of these that are loose in your drawer? I'd like to buy them." And if you really wanted to, you could probably have them show them to you first before you decide to take them. But people find it all the time. I know OC Stacker has a friend in Arizona that walked into a bank and asked for some rolls of it was either quarters or half dollars, and the things were super old and they were 100% silver. And the bank will sell it to you for what the roll's worth, not for what the silver's worth, right? I think it's like $20 or whatever. You can find some killer deals. Yeah, so this is his plan to get there. You just got to put a plan in place, guys, to work through it. Holy crap. Tiger, I don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, I know what Harry Potter is. Surf is actually Lord Voldemort, protected by his Horcruxes. Call Harry Potter to help you hunt his stack locations. You'll never find my stack locations. Those are super secret. The real question is, do I start putting stuff in Cayman Island and in other countries? That's the big thing I'm debating on next. Let's see. There you go. That's pretty cool. So Steve's got a friend that sells on OfferUp, $2 to $3 under spot. So I think that's a cool place to look, guys. I found some pretty good deals on Whatnot too. It's just not great for someone in California where you're going to be paying the sales tax and shipping on every coin you buy. It's kind of annoying. Okay, let's see what you guys got here. Yeah, there's so much fakes, guys. If the price seems too good to be true, it is. So if you've got someone that's offering to sell you a silver eagle for $50 right now, fake. I mean, there's a chance it's an old person that has no idea what it's worth today, and they've been stacking or holding it for a very long time, and not really necessarily old by age, but probably more someone that's had it for a long time, like just a long time stalker. um, they may have no idea how much the price has gone up for it, but 99% of the time, a silver eagle right now for $50 or a silver eagle for say under $65, fake. And those do come up a lot. All right, guys. So hit the thumbs up. I don't know, mods. Tell me, what do we get to on how many thumbs up in here? Let's see what we got to. When will the silver be all gone? I don't think the silver will ever be all gone. I think there's plenty in the earth to still mine. It's just becoming harder to do it. So what happens with silver is right now it's not cost effective, with silver at $30 or lower to build a silver mine. It doesn't make any sense to do it. And every once in a while, when they're doing copper, they'll find a big silver deposit. We get to like $300 silver in today's world. That could be the number. I don't know what the number is, but that could be the number where all of a sudden there's motivation now for um, these companies to go and spin up a dedicated silver mine. Um, the real interesting thing is going to be, do governments start to confiscate or take partial ownership of silver mines? The US did with it. Intel, I think it was just recently. It was Intel, maybe it was Nvidia. I don't know. One of the chip companies. Yeah, you got that too. So you got to worry for that. But um, I don't know. There's days where I want to be on a farm and just make it easy. And then I forget I have a lot of allergies to animals, so that could be a problem. COC. All right, guys. So we're gonna call it a night here too. Let me just see if there's anything else left. Yeah, you could go like John Wick style with it and put it in your under your basement in the ground. See, that's the way to do it. You got to get them starting to hold the silver. Don't worry about them messing up the silver at all, guys. Get them to touch it, hold it, feel it. It's like real cool metal. It has a great vibration to it. Ping it for them. Let them hear it. Give them two so they can bang them against each other and hear how awesome it is. Uh, I can't tell you what to do, Dean, but I'm still buying. I'm looking to make a purchase on Sunday. So, what I'll tell you is there's not like a number to get to that says, okay, stop buying. Um, it's not really how it works. It's relative to why you're doing it. If you're moving out of dollars, oh, I did find a dollar back here. Look at this. This stuff. I don't want this stuff. This piece of paper, whether it has a 1, a 2, a 5, a 10, a 20, a 50, or a 100 on it, it all costs the same amount, which is basically, I don't know, maybe a penny or two to make this stuff. Maybe it's 5 or 10 cents. It all has the same value. There's nothing here to it. And the reality is the value is actually zero because um, I can't do anything. I can't even write on it. It's not. I have a very little margin down here to put a note on. If I wanted to use it as note paper, I mean, it's just toilet paper. I don't even know. It might work. It's kind of durable. Maybe you can wash it later. But I don't really want that stuff. I want this stuff. So to me, the answer is if I still have a bunch of this stuff, and I like to have 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund in the bank with a little bit of cash nearby in a safe location that's in a fire safe area. Um, and then I like to have outside of that enough to manage my businesses as well as my household to pay the bills. And then the rest of it, I want to get out of that, put it into some of the mining stocks, maybe some other tech stocks until the market rolls over, which it's starting to show some signs of that. And then what I want to do is have the rest of it be into things like this and real estate. So I don't think 72 is too high. However, it could be high right now. I mean, we could see it go down by this weekend. Maybe on the weekend it'll be down to $65. I don't know. Maybe it'll go higher and it'll go up to $80, and you'll be like, "Oh, I'm glad I bought." So what I can tell you is the best thing to do is take how much money you want to spend on silver per month and split it up either weekly or biweekly or once a month, and you buy constantly. It's called dollar cost averaging. That's the best philosophy if you're asking a question like this and you're concerned about 72 being too high. It's kind of the same thing when you go to sell too. You sell portions of it. So, for example, if you have $1,000 and you're worried about that, right? Buy an ounce a month, okay, for under $100, and you'll be okay because maybe in a year from now, some of those will be over $100. And it'll kind of average itself out. Yeah, it could totally happen, guys, but it could go lower than that. You could be buying at 72, and this could go down to say 48 or $52. That's possible, and that's not like a massive, crash. I mean, it's going to feel like it, but it's still within the realms of technical analysis. So, if you're going to buy at these levels, you have to be prepared for it to take a drop. So don't put money in that you're going to need to pull out in the next 6 months to a year. Anything you're putting into silver right now should be, for the most part, it should be money that you can sell, or you don't need to sell the silver for 5 years. Okay. And the reason I say that is if you're playing this wave right now that's coming in, it may only last 4 years or 3 years or even two, but it could also go 10 years. If you're going to have a plan of at least putting it in for 5 years, it at least kind of gets your mind into that set of thinking where it helps you make that decision. So if I don't need to sell this for 5 years and silver is not higher than $70, um, then we have a whole nother situation that's happened. And I'd be super surprised about that. What people are doing is they're looking back at the past and saying, hey, it went back down to like 20. Well, okay. Do you think a car is ever going back down to $5,000 for a brand new car? I would say no. Is a house ever going back down to $60,000 in Southern California when the average home's over $1 million? I don't think so. So why would silver go back down to $5? Why would it go back down to 10, 15, 20? A lot of those days are past. I think we're going so high on these metals, guys, that you're going to look back at it and you're going to wish you had more of it. This isn't financial advice. I'm not telling you to FOMO and buy this stuff. If you feel like if you're buying because you're afraid you're going to miss out on the profits, don't buy. You're buying for the wrong reason. Okay. If you want to get out of paper dollars, this crap, okay, and you want to get into this stuff, and then the question, you don't ask these questions, okay? You just say, okay, if it go down to 57 and I have $1,000, maybe I'll keep 50% of it out in case it goes down to 57, and I'll buy the rest of it now, for example, over the next, you know, 3 months, buy a little bit out of that $500. And then if you never go back down to 57, it goes up to 100, and it doesn't look like it's going back down, you could start to use some of that money you're going to use for 57 to buy at the higher price. And yeah, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, no one does, and so it's going to hurt either way, right? If you buy it at 70, it goes down to 57, that hurts. If you buy it at if you wait for 57 and it never comes and the next number is 100 and you're buying it at 100 when you could have bought it at 70, it's going to suck too. Yeah, we'll come up to Utah. A lot of my family, almost all my family's up there. Let's see. Rob has been spending it on entertainment. Interesting. You're going to have to tell us more about that someday. For this to be a repeat of 1980, silver has to go over $200 an ounce. Yes. But you guys, things are different today than 1980. They didn't print one out of, I don't know if you guys realize this, but basically 30% of all the dollars ever printed in history were printed in the last 5 years. Okay. Right. 30% of it. That's massive. We're either going to go into a greater depression at some point here, or they're going to print the money like crazy. And when that happens, there's no going back to those old numbers because there's so much money that's been printed that money always finds a home. There'll be too much dollars fighting for the silver. So it's not going to go back down to those super low prices. Um, the only exception is if we go into a depression and they don't print us out, right? If you go into a depression, everything becomes deflationary. And in that situation, you could see gold under 1,000. You could see silver under, say, $12. But if that's happening, you don't even want this stuff. You're just trying to eat. So you just take your stack and you use it to buy food, and you'll be grateful you have it. And this won't go down as much as all the other stuff will go down. But I mean, like, what's a Lamborghini worth if we're in a massive deflationary death spiral and no one has the money to buy a Lamborghini? I mean, the thing could be worth $500. It's just, anyway, those are extreme situations we don't really get into on channels because they're so extreme. It's like, well, what if aliens land tomorrow and they take 7 billion people away? Okay, well, maybe that happens, but I can't plan for that. It's just too crazy. But if we do get into a crazy deflationary thing, you guys have the right stuff. If you've got food storage, you've got some cash around, you got gold and silver, you'll do better than just about anybody else in the country and in the planet. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I wouldn't count on this. Okay, it would be cool. By the way, we got to get up to 17,000 subs, guys, before the end of the year for this to get given away. Otherwise, it's going in the deep stack and it's never coming out. 1/10 ounce Toro gold. So I don't know. I got it listed for $600 on eBay. I'm pretty sure that's too high, but I don't really want to sell it. So, and I have more than one of those. But anyway, um, I put some of my stuff, if it looks too high on eBay, it's because I'm concerned prices are going to jump really fast. And I'm not really looking to necessarily sell that stuff. I'll probably start putting some other product on. Okay. I hope the Fed, I hope the Fed is ended by Congress. I don't know that there's any way Trump can end it. He's a president. He's not Congress. The Fed is put in place by Congress. Trump just gets to appoint the federal chair head, and then they have to get approved by Congress. Okay, so Trump can't end the Fed. It's unconstitutional for him to do that. Um, he can say he wants to, but he has no power to do that. Now, if the Fed does get ended, though, um, what will probably happen is either the Treasury will take over everything like it should per the Constitution, or they're going to try to move into some other private company that's going to act like the Fed that issues stable coins. Okay. So that's just stuff we're going to have to look for. BRICS, watch out for them. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think that's everybody's goal is to have some of the stuff you can show. Um, but you also got to remember, when people buy a lot of these things, right? So this is a 2-ounce coin, and I think I picked this up for under $50, so under $25 an ounce. And these guys, I was picking these up at below, like $1,600, $1,700. So the price has gone up a bunch, and it's really hard to buy something like this for $1,600 and then turn around and see that it's going for $4,500. That's hard. My income has not gone up that much percentage wise, so it's much harder for me to buy more metals than I've had in the past. But that's why I don't show a lot of these. Like, I mean, if I were to show my whole stack, then people are starting to judge my channel based on my stack. They're starting to kind of think, okay, he has either a lot of metals, so he knows what he's doing. Well, it might just mean that I have a lot of money or someone gave them to me, right? If you don't see very many coins, then some people think, okay, they don't know what they're doing. They're just getting started. Well, maybe people aren't comfortable showing it. But for me, since I show my face, I very rarely are going to show very many coins for you guys. But that's a little selection. It's kind of fun. I usually don't bring coins out. Yeah, that's unconstitutional. That thing should have never been created. It didn't get approved right either. Yeah, Lynxes go for good, man. If you've got the 1-ounce ones on the Lynxes, oh my gosh, there's very few of those. It's going for a ton of money. You got a 10th ounce, I would say at the very least 4% over. Um, but they're pretty rare. So if someone really knows what they want, they're hard to find. That's the thing. It should take over, but it doesn't have to, right? The Fed shouldn't exist either. Depends on what Congress does, and it depends on how much they follow the Constitution. BRICS is horrible, guys. It's not a good system, and they hate each other, so they're not going to last. But they could cause massive damage to us. So, I'm not a fan of what's going on there. I hope that we can rip Brazil out of that. Um, and I'm also hoping that we can keep Canada and Mexico on our side on everything. Nice platinum paperweight. Yeah, I mean, someday these things could be paperweights if all we want is rice and beans. You won't use your metals for very much. Yep, silver's king for right now. At some point, it could be that you want gold instead of silver when the ratio gets really low. But right now, silver has the most upside. However, with that said, I still wouldn't go sell all of this shiny gold stuff just so you can have silver to try to make more money on the way up. That's a lot of speculation. If you've got any number of wealth, I always recommend having one of these for every $50,000 in net worth you have. Okay. So, you know, there's one here. Do the math. There's at least, some wealth in my household, or I wouldn't have one of those. However, I don't actually own anything. This is all owned by a trust. So good luck finding that. Um, yeah, someone's always going to have more or less than you. I mean, crap. I'm working on getting David Bateman to come over, guys. Um, let's see if we can. Let's see if I can find his quote he came up with. Da, 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 da. Right here. So I talked to David Bateman the other day, so you guys can see. I'm not going to share it because it was kind of personal information, but I'm working on getting David Bateman to come on. Yeah, there we go. That's too fast for you guys to see anyway. So I'm working on getting him to come on soon, but not many people have more than David Bateman. He bought 12.69 million ounces of silver last year. Okay. I don't think anybody in the chat here has that much silver. That's a massive amount of silver. Yes, this is the key. So if you ever come across a time machine, you want to go back to about 2000, 2001, and go buy a bunch of gold at 250 bucks. It could be incredible. I mean, honestly, if you have a little over $1 million at that time, right? You'd be able to, I don't know, million and a half. You'd be able to pick up about 5,000 ounces. Having 5,000 ounces right now would be insane. So, but anyway, I don't have a time machine. Uh, they're not going to let it do that. That's why gold's not at 50,000 right now. They're not letting it do that. They're fighting it. The problem is they can't keep fighting it. They can't fight it forever. That's the problem. So the shorts are starting to lose because there's enough interest in people buying it. So that's where confiscation comes into play. If you don't believe in confiscation, but you believe in this concept here, then I think you need to think through those two concepts a little bit more. If you do believe in this concept and you believe in confiscation, well, then there's some other ways to prepare for that. And by the way, nothing's perfect because it can be different every time with that. And this time, it's more likely they're going to confiscate your Bitcoin and your cash and your 401ks and your retirement and your Social Security well before they go to confiscate your metals. People don't have metals laying around. They have a lot of that other stuff laying around. So I've been trading Krugerrands for American gold. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is because I prefer to have my own country's coin. And there could be some tax ramifications there that are beneficial, but you've got to talk to your accountant and CPA about that. As far as pre 33, that's my favorite gold to own is pre 33, especially if you can get it at the right price because it's history. They're not making any more of it. And, you can have some pretty low populations in some of these coins. And, what we find is anytime there's, money's running up and gold starts to run up, you get situations where people with a lot of wealth are coming to the game late, and they want to buy up what they can find, and they don't want to have big vaults full of silver eagles all over the place. They want to have a stash of 10, 20, 30 gold coins, and they may even want to have $100 million worth. So those people are looking for $100,000 coins or more. So there's a market there, and every product has its time and place. I've yet to see a product become useless. So right now, pre 33 is on sale. I think it's a great buy. In the future, it will probably be 2 to 3 x the price of a gold eagle, a modern gold eagle at some point, even for something that's like an MS61. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm told by the people that are more experts in that. Granted, they're trying to sell you pre 33 gold, so You got to take it with a grain of salt. Okay, let's see. We'll do like that so you guys can see it better. Can you imagine having all that delivered somewhere? I don't know what vaulting facility he would have had that sent to. Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't know who Brent is, or Bert. See, obviously I don't know who he is because I screwed up his name. If you can send me an email, stackingsurfer@gmail.com with some of the information on him, I can reach out to him. So we'll have to look at that. So there's all kinds of different kinds of trust. When the channel gets bigger, then it's easier to do this because it's hard to get an attorney's time to come on to the channel to do it. The attorney I had set stuff up is pretty busy. He probably set up David Bateman's stuff. He does like the Huntsmans and a lot of other big billionaires up in Utah. Um, like I said, my family came from a lot of money in the past, so we've been using these guys for a long time. And if you're going to get a trust, it's like a minimum of $10,000 to set it up, and you're going to basically lose ownership of all your stuff, but you're going to have the ability to have someone control it for you and be able to manage that. But it completely hides it from any kind of liabilities you might have. It doesn't save you on taxes until you die, and then you have a full step up in basis for your kids. But it all depends on which kind you set up, and so that's just a possibility. You've got to talk to your attorneys about that. In time, I do want to bring more of that on. Like what I would really like to do with the channel is have it. I would like to provide all the turnkey stuff from the point of trusts. Here's the attorneys to use. Here's the accountants to use. Here's the local coin shops to buy from that are approved in your area, and here's the LC, the big coin shops to buy from. Here's the kind of holders you put your coins in, right? So like like if you're going to have a holder like this, these things are on Amazon, and I don't think a single person's clicked on my Amazon links. I don't really talk about those much, and I think I got kicked out of the affiliate program. But you can go buy these on there, and they come in the little capsules, right? And then you can put them in here. Some of them are black on the edge, others are clear all the way up to the small coin. Uh-oh, we just lost a maple leaf. So I'd love to get to the point where I can do that, but I can't do that with this isn't even a part-time job. It's really just a kind of a hobby that's taking almost the amount of time as a part-time job. If I had more time, I would do that though. Yeah, that's probably why we don't have a time machine. Um, and I don't think the purpose of being here on the planet is to figure out how to maximize your wealth. I think it's how do you deal with the situations you're given, and how do you magnify your talents, and how do you help others? Um, and are you willing to do the hard things? Okay. No one knows how big anybody's stashes are. I wouldn't worry about that, guys. It's not really about how big your stash is. What I will tell you is going back to this for a second, what I will tell you is this: the larger your stash, the more responsibility you have to help others. Okay. In your community and in your family. If you've got a monster stash, if you had 10 million, if you're Michael Bateman, let's put him back up on there. If you've got 12 million ounces of silver, I mean, seriously, what the heck are you going to do with that? That's a lot of silver, right? He's controlling that silver to be able to have power and influence, and whatever he's planning on doing with it coming out of that, right? Um, he's got enough silver there that I'm sure if he has family members that get in really bad shape, um, at some point maybe there's a way to kind of help him out a little bit. But you never want to do things for people. You don't want to um, enable people by any means. But if you have a massive stack, you also have a massive responsibility. What are you going to do with that stack? Are you just going to bury this stuff under the ground and never, contribute to society, help, any of that stuff? Um, Kenshi, where have you been? We've been talking about you. Do you have any silver? I'm curious to know if you have any silver. Have you been riding the silver wave? Have you sold any of your Bitcoin to buy gold or silver? I'm very curious. Um, Silver can be an investment. It can be SHTF. It can be an investment. It can be a speculation. It is definitely not wealth insurance. It's too volatile. I buy what I can find for a good deal or what I'm advised to by my advisors. I have advisors. I've got planners that I work with to go through things. So if they advise me on, buying slabbed ones, then I do that. I like to see what Andy Schectman has, info at milesfranklin.com. Let them know Stacking Surfer sent you. So I'll look at that stuff that they have from time to time and see some good deals. So here's his call out. And I will get some slabbed, but I also like non-slabbed pre-33 too. It doesn't have to be slabbed. So it really kind of depends on the deal you find. So that's awesome. I like Gold Buffalo, guys. Those are my favorite gold coins to stack right now. I don't know. I haven't really been up to Northern California to look at. Let's see. Oh, I want that off. Okay. I haven't been up to Northern California to see what's up there. See, OC's excited you're in the house, Kenshi. Yeah, you got to have goals, guys. I know. I'm almost done. You assume I can sleep is the problem. I'm not going to really be able to sleep until I pass out. All right, let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is usually what the wealthy do is they provide the jobs, right? Create the business and all that. But you have a responsibility for it. I mean, anybody that just takes everything they're good at and hides from everybody, I think um, I think they're doing themselves a disservice in the community. If you have the money, um, you're probably going to stack both. Like David Bateman, he bought, I think it was $800 million of silver last year. It's turned into almost 2 billion now, and then he bought 400 million in gold. So he bought twice as much silver as he did in gold dollar value. And that's because he sees where silver is going. He's acting as an investor. I don't think he's acting as a trader. He took physical, and physical is really hard to trade all the time, especially the amount of bars he took. I don't know where he's going to move that besides trying to sell it back to the COMEX. I mean, I don't know where you sell 1,000-ounce bars. That's tough. So it's not necessarily that. If he had that much money and he bought more silver than he did gold, and we don't know about platinum. Maybe he bought platinum, maybe he didn't. So, that's something we'll have to ask him when he comes on. Yep, that does happen. Uh-oh, OC's telling me I better get some sleep now. All right, we better shut it down then. So it's OC's birthday tomorrow. I'm surprised we had Kenshi on here. I think he made one comment and left. So I don't know what he was referring to on that one. And I don't know this one either, so he'll have to come and chat with us sometimes. So you got to look at everything, guys, and you got to understand the seasons and cycles of everything that's going on out there. Nothing goes up forever. I don't think there's any one form of money that's going to replace everything that's out there. We're in a digital world today, so I don't think it's only going to be gold coins in the future, unless we give up on the digital world. But they're probably going to tokenize this stuff and have it be digital. And then you're gonna have to decide, do you want the physical or do you want the promise of it's backed by physical? So until next time, guys, peace out. Thanks for coming. Let's get to 17,000 and I'm gonna go get some rest. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.